This video is on mint. Here, I'll talk about it first before I show you it. For me, mint is my go-to herb for anything. It's the herb I use to substitute in any recipe that I might take from somebody else, or like older blends and whatnot. If I don't have that, or if it's something that's an ingredient that's really expensive or really hard to find. I know Scott Cunningham, and a lot of people follow this too because of Scott Cunningham, says that rosemary is his go-to herb for substitutions and whatnot. But it doesn't work that well with me. And also, every time I think about it, I'll think about maybe you're making a love recipe or something, and you have lavender, and say you need to mix it with rose or something, but you don't have rose. So if you did his substitution, you'd be putting rosemary in. But rosemary and lavender together, it makes a recipe, it makes a blend that's supposed to keep you chaste. So that doesn't really help. Maybe you'll find love, but he's not going to be touching you, or she won't, or anything. Mint just has this kick for me that really seems, and it's like the different properties according to different people seem to work well for everything too. I've even made revenge oil and I've put mint in it. People weren't expecting that. My Vithor's Vengeance, I know I sent it to one person and one person bought it. And they're like, it works really well. But when I opened it, I was not expecting it to smell like mint. And I'm like, mint is a really powerful herb to me. Here's what it looks like in the jar. This jar used to be full, but I use it a lot. I'm going to take some out so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. It's actually from my garden, so it's not finely ground like you can find in some places. Let's see, can you see that? Like you can get, even like getting it out of a tea bag or something, works fine. It's fairly cheap, actually, because it grows like a weed. I know, like, if you don't grow it in a pot, you grow it in like a garden bed or on the ground. After a while, it's going to take over. Maybe just in California, though, or Southern California, because we don't really have a frost where I live in San Diego. So annuals tend to last years. They don't always look that great, but they'll start taking over. But maybe if you have a frost, your mint won't go as crazy. But this is just from where I live. So for me, mint is good for love, money, lust. You can use it to repel negative energy. You can use it to send, like, to jinx different people sending you things, like basically you're cursing other people with it. It's depending on what you blend it with or the intent that you use it with, because I'm like, a lot of people say you have to blend certain ones to make it work, but I feel if you take one herb, you're focusing all your energy and working with that one energy of that one herb, and you can really make it shoot towards something that you want. So mint is, you know, it's the best herb in my opinion for most basic thing that people are looking for to do. Love, money, you know, all those sort of things, prosperity, abundance. Well, those are all kind of interconnected. And a lot of people are into cleansing and protection, which is good as well. So there's like three basic things that I feel most people go for when they're buying spiritual supplies or they're working with something. It's either going to be love, it's either going to be money, or it's going to be protection. And I kind of put protection and cleansing together because you really should, if you're putting up walls, be cleansing all the other icky stuff out before you trap it in the walls that you're creating. That, yeah, so I kind of put them together. They're the same thing to me. And there's also good for different things too, depending on, like, a lot of the times I'll compare herbs, how they're used in hoodoo, according to different texts they have, compared to neo-pagan practices, because most of the books that you can find now are neo-pagan ones. They're not, they're based off old information. Well, they're based off, that's wrong. Some of them say that they're based off old information. But can't really trust most authors and whatnot because I don't see the documentation always. But anyway, most people would just agree that that's good for those things. Or they get a vibration or something off of it that makes them think, okay, well, this is going to be good for this one. Or this herb is talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And I've worked with, most of the time I work with the plant as it's in the ground still. And get to, like, see how it grows. And I take the idea of how it grows, like mint goes through everything. Just, like, spreads and spreads and spreads and nothing stops it. Except for those little green worms, the hornworms, those stop the top of it, but the roots are still moving. So I see that it's like hard to break down and hard to, I'm having a brain fart today. I didn't get much sleep. So it's hard watching how it grows and how you have to take care of it and how strong it is and everything as a regular plant kind of gives an indication of how it's going to be used magically as well. In my opinion, I like seeing that, and also seeing how it's used medicinally, because mint is also a healing herb, and a lot of people take it internally for tons of different things. That it's basically good for, that you can connect the medicinal properties with the magical properties, so on and so forth. So anyway, short video is done now. I'm trying to get my phone to stop buzzing. But I like to use mint as substitution. I don't know if you have something else that you prefer to use, or if you as well use mint as a substitution in your magic practices. let me know. Because most of the stuff that I actually sell does tend to have at least a tiny pinch of mint in it, because it just gives it that. I try not to use more than 3 herbs in any blend, because I feel like it's not confusing it, but it kind of like, I want to make sure that all the energies work well together, not just like shove a bunch of herbs, because they all say that like you'll look in a book and it'll say love herbs, and I want to just take every herb on that list and shove it together, because they might not work the right way. Just because they're both love connected doesn't mean they work well with each other. Mint tends to work well with everything that I use it with, though. So yeah, thank you for watching.